Hello amazing people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Matilda Chimobi, and if you're new here, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, you are the real MVP. Thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. Please do not forget to like this video and definitely leave a comment in the comment section. Guys, we're at 985 subscribers, so if you're watching this video now, please click on that subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed to my channel. So for this video, guys, I'm going to be sharing with you everything you need to know concerning accommodation as an international student that's leaving your home country to come over to the UK for either your master's program or your undergraduate. So make sure you like this video and share this video with someone that'll find this useful, because guys, the more you like, the more you comment, the more you subscribe, the more YouTube recommends my videos to new subscribers and new audience. And let's get right into our video. So the first thing you have to decide is what type of accommodation you want to stay in. If you want to stay in a university accommodation, which we know back in Nigeria as on-campus accommodation or on-campus hostel, these accommodations are being provided by the university itself. For example, you're going to University of Leicester. The University of Leicester, they have the accommodation they provide to students from 100 level to your postgraduate. So there's an accommodation that has been provided for you. The next type of accommodation is the private accommodation. So this type of accommodation is being owned by individuals, private landlords, or student accommodation board, or done by student accommodation board. These accommodations are set out to provide accommodations for students in various universities for different cities. In Nigeria, we know this as off-campus accommodation or off-campus hostel. Now that you've decided on what type of accommodation you want to go for, the next thing we'll be talking about is the university accommodation. Okay, this university accommodation usually comes in form of halls of residence. That means it is a big building where they have like different rooms all together in that particular building. And something you need to know is that these rooms differ, they are not the same. The first type of room you find in this particular accommodation is your studio apartment. So studio apartment is simply the type of room in which you have your bathroom and your kitchen all together for your own personal convenience. I made a video on my studio apartment, so I'm going to be leaving the link on the screen so that you have an idea on what I'm talking about. This means you don't have to share your bathroom or your kitchen with anyone. The next type of room you find in this type of accommodation is your ensuite. This is the type of room in which your bathroom is together with your room. That means you do not share your bathroom with anybody. Your bathroom is just for you and you alone, but the only thing you share is your kitchen. So it depends on how the accommodation is being sectioned. It depends on their location. You can share a kitchen with like 5 or 6 people, but the good thing is that you don't have to share your toilet with anybody. The next type of room you need to know about is standard room, or let's just say single rooms. I really don't know what to call this type of rooms, but this is when you have just your room. There is no bathroom, there is no kitchen in it. I think most accommodations just end up giving you like a sink. That's where you can like brush your teeth or wash your face at your own convenience. So that's like the only thing in that room, just your sink and your room, your bed, your reading table and stuff like that. And this means that you have to share your kitchen and your bathroom with 5 or 6 people. It might be lower than that and it might be higher than that. It all depends on your university allocation. So now that you have an idea on what the university accommodation looks like, the next type of accommodation is the private accommodation. So this type of accommodation are usually owned by individuals, private landlords, or student accommodation board. What I mean by student accommodation board, these are like organizations that cater for the accommodation of students in that particular area or in that particular region. So for example, here in Leicester, those type of accommodations are called Select. All they do is to provide either studio apartment, ensuite, single room. So it all depends on what you want. You just have to go to this type of website and look for the accommodation you're looking for. And that type of private accommodation, these are like shared apartments. So what this shared apartment means is that this is like a normal British house which has like so many rooms inside the building. Let's say about 5 or 4 rooms. So if you're looking for an ensuite, these 4 rooms in this particular house will all have bathrooms inside the different rooms. The only thing you have to share is the kitchen and the lounge area with the washing machine and things like that. If you do not want an ensuite, you can get like single rooms in which you have to share the bathroom, the kitchen, the living area with your other housemates or flatmates. So this type of accommodation, most of the time they have like 2 bathrooms, one downstairs for the people living down and one upstairs for the people that are going to be upstairs. Then you have to share your kitchen and your lounge area with them. The next one I'm going to talk about is the advantages and disadvantages of this type of accommodation. So for university accommodation, the major advantage is that it is always closer to school. Like guys, I always tell people you need to consider the distance between your accommodation and that of your school. You do not want to spend too much money on transport commuting from your house to your school, I always advise that your accommodation should be a trackable distance to school. No matter wherever you're looking for, it should be a trackable distance to school, because you don't want to spend so much on paying for bus fare or Uber. Try to get an accommodation that is somehow close to school, even if you're not going to be staying in university accommodation. The second advantage of university accommodation is the fact that most of the time they hold like events in which you can get to meet other people in the university, other people in your accommodation, just for you to interact and socialize with them. The major disadvantage of university accommodation is that most of the time they are more expensive than private accommodation. So you need to compare the price before you go ahead to make payments on the type of accommodation you want. Moving over to private accommodation, the main advantage of this private accommodation is that you can find houses at a cheaper rate. So depending on your budget, and you will definitely find something within your price range. I think one of the major disadvantages is the fact that it might be far from school. Now we are going to move over to the most important thing for this accommodation, because it's not just to go on Google and look for accommodation. You have to know the price range of the different accommodation. So I'm going to be using London as an example, because we're all familiar with London, which is very expensive, if not the most expensive city here in the UK. So I'm going to be using that as an example so that I have an idea on the price range. So most of the time, London accommodations are usually higher than other cities. So depending on your city, it will not be the same price with that of London. So here in the UK, you usually pay your rent per calendar month. So that means you pay your rent monthly. According to Google, because I had to do my research, the average rent for studio apartment for a student is £800 per calendar month. So you can see it might be cheaper than that in your city. It depends. Then for an ensuite, the average you pay is £550, and for single rooms, the average amount you pay is £500. So this might differ depending on the city you live in. Something else you need to consider when looking at apartment is try and make sure that your apartment is bills inclusive. Guys, let me tell you, you don't want to pay for rent and along the line you'll be paying for bills. What I mean by bills inclusive is that electricity bill, your gas bill, your water bill, your Wi-Fi bill, all these things are included into your rent money, so you don't have to pay for them separately. But if your accommodation is not bills inclusive, that means you have to pay for all these things separately. That means you have to pay extra money for all those things, which sometimes it's not really a good idea, because you're trying to save as much money as you can. You don't want to be spending money unnecessarily. Try to get bills inclusive for your rent. So I'm going to be giving 2 additional tips before we come to the end of this video. So the first tip is, depending on the type of bed you want, the price differs. If you want a single bed, it is cheaper than that of a double bed. I'm going to be leaving a picture on the screen. So the smaller bed is cheaper than that of the bigger bed. Something else you need to know is that there are different websites in which you can check for accommodations for students. I'm going to be leaving the list on the screen because there are so many of them that you can check for. You have the Zoopla, you have the Amber Students, you have the uni places, you have the Sulet, as I said earlier on, for people in Leicester, the student pad, you have the uni places. So I'm just going to be leaving any name I can find on the screen for you to check them out. So guys, we have come to the end of this video. I really hope I was able to explain this as much as I can. I really hope you understand everything I've explained in this video. If you have any more questions, you can definitely leave them in the comment section and I'll definitely reply. I also have a playlist for international students that are coming over to the UK. I'm going to be leaving them on the screen, so make sure you check them out. And if you were not able to find any information you were looking for in this particular video, as I always say, Google is your friend, so make sure you check Google for any answers or any information you are looking for. So we have come to the end of this video. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe and share this video. Guys, please subscribe to my channel and I'll be seeing you guys in my next video. Take care and bye guys.